Hey, Karen. Welcome, Karen, and welcome to the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe. So you're the first one in the room. I've already pressed the record button so I don't forget. And I'm clever like that. I make myself a little slideshow, screen show that I remember to put on record. Otherwise, I'll do the same as our coach and actually remember halfway in. So this is your first time here. While we're waiting for other people to join, this is the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe. We are here every Wednesday. It's 8 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. EDT, and then 7 p.m. UK time. So you're all very welcome here. I see Janelle is also joining. Just wait for her a little bit. There we go. So like I said, this meeting is recorded. And I'm just reminding everybody that this is a public group, so just be mindful of that while you're sharing. Now it is time for our meet and greet. So I'm going to stop the share screen so we can see each other properly. Janelle and Karen, do you want to unmute yourself and say hi? Oh, Janelle said she's driving, so I'm not sure whether she'll be able to get on screen, but she said she's listening in. But she's driving the girls, so she'll be listening in tonight. So Corin, do you want to unmute yourself and just give an introduction of who you are, what you do, and what you're excited to learn tonight?
Yeah, thank you for your welcome and the invitation to this group. Yeah, my name is Karen. I'm living in France. I'm originally from Germany, past the Netherlands, and that's where I got my name, Ketelaar. That is a bit connected also to the Dutch people who emigrated centuries ago to the south of Africa. Yeah, and I'm a crisis coach. I'm a mother of 6, and I have been busy in this field for about 40 years. And my specialty is the combination of really body, mind, and soul. With more than 30 years medical background. Wow. I'm integrating really the therapies that are necessary to support the body so that the transformation can really take place. And after you stepped out of the crisis, you won't likely get into the next very soon, or maybe never, just for the development reasons.
Yeah, awesome, Karen. So very welcome here. And then we also got Janelle. Janelle, I'm not sure if you'll be able to unmute. Janelle says hello from Florida. So Janelle, if you want to write for us in the comments, or if you want to unmute yourself and just tell us, what you do and what you're here to learn, if it's at all possible. And while I'm waiting for you, I'll just quickly introduce myself. Karen and I know each other quite well. We've been working in a coaching container together now for quite some time. Janelle is the first time I'm meeting you. I think we've met on a group of some coach. Can't really remember who the coach is, but I remember the coaching program name. So it rings a bell, and I know we had some interaction in Messenger quite a while back. So we are definitely in each other's networks, but we haven't really gotten to know each other. So I'm Jana de Toy. I'm a business coach and mentor for Christian female entrepreneurs. And what I do is I teach women to sell their expertise using Facebook groups. So I've spent over 8,000 hours in personal development, published my book, I think it was last year or the year before, became a #1 best-selling author, and helped over 350 women to transform. So I love having all of you here, and I'm excited to share with you tonight. So I'm just going to share my screen again, and then we're going to carry on with the slideshow. So I'm going to try and keep mindful of the chat. Let me just open the chat here by me so I can see. All right. and just click on the right thing. So sorry about that. Okay, so tonight's topic is unlocking efficiency and excellence, the art of systematizing your coaching process. And it is very important for us as coaches. Why is it so important? But before we start with that, let's just start with a prayer. Lord Jesus, thank you so much that we can be here as coaches and entrepreneurs to learn more about our businesses, to learn how to grow, to learn how to serve our customers well. Lord Jesus, please open our eyes and our ears so that we may learn and we may get some interesting insights, and that we may learn from each other and use this group as a collective and this meeting as a collective to learn from each other so that we may grow. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So the importance of systematization in coaching. Now I've got some answers here, but that's just to get our creative juices going so that we can actually have a conversation about this. So I'm going to read for you. Systemization in coaching is vital because it provides some structure, provides consistency, and a clear roadmap for both the coach and for the client. It also ensures that coaching sessions are purposeful, it is organized, and it's effective. So with a systematic approach, coaches can track progress of their clients, identify areas where they can improve themselves and where their clients can improve, and we can deliver some better results. So clients benefit from a reliable and a predictable coaching experience, and that fosters trust and commitment from their side. And on our side, it also facilitates scalability, allowing the coaches to handle more clients without compromising the quality of our meetings and of our coaching program. So in essence, it elevates the coaching from an ad hoc practice, doing this as a hobby, into a well-orchestrated process that maximizes the impact and enhances the coaching journey for all the participants. Now, I've got some key ideas about how to structure and how to have a framework for our coaching process. So first of all, we need to look at what is the crucial elements that we have in our coaching program. And when I say the elements, I don't mean your coaching modules. I mean, what do you take them through? Do you take them through a goal setting? Do you take them through assessments? Do you take them through action planning? Things like feedback. And we're going to learn some more tonight about some models that we can use for that. So these components create a structured framework that is crucial for us to be efficient coaches. The structure and organization in coaching are paramount as they bring clarity, it brings purpose, and it brings the direction to the sessions, ensuring that both the coach and the client stays on track towards the desired outcomes. Successful coaching systems, such as the GROW model or the Socratic questioning method, exemplify the power of well-defined structures. Now, I'm just going to pause right there and ask, do you know what the GROW model is and the Socratic question method? Have you ever heard of that before?
I may have heard it, but I couldn't produce it right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share that tonight. So it's just two basic models, but there are lots of models that can be used. And I see Henrietta has joined us tonight as well. Welcome, Henrietta. There are lots of models that you can go and research after this training, but the GROW model and the Socratic questioning model are two that are very often used, and it exemplifies the power of these well-defined structures. They provide coaches with proven blueprints for achieving some positive results in our clients, enhancing the coaching experience, and delivering some consistent value to our clients. And that's what we need. We need them to get consistent results. Okay. I just want to scroll down here. All right, so let's talk about the GROW model and the Socratic questioning. So the GROW model works like this. GROW model is a widely recognized coaching framework that stands for your goals, your reality, the options, and the will. So coaches use it to guide the clients through that structured problem-solving process. So first of all, you talk to your client, and you can use this in an individual session, or you can use it to plan out your whole coaching program. But let's take the example of like one coaching session. So you get on the call with your client and you ascertain what are their goals for this session. What would they like to get out of this session? What would be most helpful for them to learn? So you define this clear and specific objective that the client wants to achieve. Now you go and look at the reality. So again, we are looking at this gap. So on the other side of the gap is what they want, and on this side of the gap, it is where they are at right now. So now we're looking at where are they at right now, and we assess this current situation by exploring what are the facts, what are their circumstances, what are their feelings, what are their thoughts, what are their challenges right now. So we can start seeing what are the obstacles that are in the way of them reaching the other side. Why haven't they yet reached a specific outcomes yet? So, and then we go and look at what are the bridges, what are the options that we can create for that client to take them from point A to point C in this coaching session. So point A will then be where they're at right now. The bridge would be the solution that you're going to provide in the coaching session, and then getting them to a point C, which would possibly not be in the session itself, which could be things that they need to go and do. I don't know, for you, Karen, do you give your clients kind of homework, or do you do everything in the session itself?
I give absolutely homework, and I find it necessary to really implement what has been worked on during the session, and to also have them in the process so that they realize more, transform more, and come with new things in a new shape to the new session. Yeah, so that there is more progress.
Yeah, definitely. Janelle, I'm not sure if you can talk or if you can chat, but if you can write in the comments for me below. Do you know about the GROW model and the Socratic questioning model? And if you do, how do you kind of use that in your model? Henrietta, so Henrietta is my mom. She is an artist, so this session isn't really relevant to her. But since she is learning, she's learning all kinds of techniques for all kinds of things, and she's seeing how she can actually implement that in her business model. So, all right, so then we have the Socratic questioning method. So Henrietta, do you want to say hi and introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Sorry, I can't speak English very well, but yes, I'm Henrietta. I'm an artist in South Africa, in the Karoo, very small town, and I'm studying with Jana to sell my my artwork and doing my Facebook posts and also coaching a little bit at the end, but not at this stage. But yes, I'm listening to all the content that I can use for myself and my business.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
and I'm muting myself because I'm not alone here. So
no problem, no problem. So Henrietta is learning to sell her art, and she's thinking about perhaps in the end of the day, maybe creating an online course, but very much further along into her journey. So she's very much learning about business and how to sell her expertise online. Janelle, if you can tell us in the comments below what kind of business you're in. I apologize, in the middle of something right now. No problem, Janelle. I've never heard of this model. Looking to learn. Please excuse me. No problem, Janelle. You can also, just stay on mute or whatever, and we'll know that you're here. And you can also catch the replay if that's not possible. So no problem. All right. So let's talk about the Socratic questioning method. Now, if you've ever been a coach, you probably know about this model. You just don't know the name. But Socratic questioning method just basically is, it's based on Socrates' teaching approach, and this method employs open-ended questions to stimulate critical thinking and self-discovery. So coaches asks you some probing questions to help you as a client to explore your beliefs, your assumptions, and your values. So this promotes this deep reflection, and it empowers our clients to find their own answers, fostering personal growth and decision-making skills. And I can see, Karen, you're nodding your head. So you're definitely recognizing that in your coaching model. And I know from working with you that you definitely employ Socratic questioning method in your methodology. And I do that as well. So later on in this session, I'm just going to explain the difference between coaching and mentoring and facilitating and teaching, the way I see it, and you'll hear where this comes in my model as well. So Karen, do you want to share with us how you use Socratic questioning in your model?
Yeah, yes and no. Because for me, I systematically start with questions, but concerning the whole life. If I take in a client for really 12 weeks or longer, so that I have time to go sustainably through all the questions I have to cover all the aspects of their lives. So on all my 3 pillars, like body, mind, and soul. So this is normal for me. And because of my medical training and my homeopathic training, I'm really, it's normal for me to also ask tiny details, because also tiny details are important to me. Attitudes, feelings, notions, they are very important to me, and they flow into my diagnosis.
Yeah,
questioning is the essence of the process. If I don't understand my client, what could I do? How can I help? So I really have meticulously to question them, to understand them deeply.
Yeah, makes sense. And while you're talking about that, a question comes up for me is, when you're talking about your coaching business and what you do you only work with people face to face, or do you also provide online sessions as well?
I do at this time mostly online sessions, because I moved to a new area in France, and I have other maybe patients, but not clients here for coaching. So coaching is for me now online, worldwide, if I can.
Yeah, and it just makes it easier, because now we're selling to the world. We no longer only have to sell to our next door neighbor, which makes it easier for us to sell our expertise. All right, so let's talk about when we're creating our coaching process. Now, I've got, I think it's 14 points that I want to go through, but I'm just going to quickly go through them. And then if you've got something to add, Karen, just raise your hand so I can see. And then we're just going to move through that. And then Janelle, Henrietta, if you're listening, if you want to say something in the chat, you're welcome to. I'm keeping my eyes on the chat as well. Okay, number 1 is we need to define what is our coaching goals. What do we actually want the client to achieve from our coaching process? So start by setting some clear objectives for your coaching process. Determine what you aim to achieve with your clients, whether it's personal development, career advancement, or a specific skill enhancement. Karen?
I don't know. I personally would never write it like this, because I would say, starting by finding the clear objectives, because my client is for me the ultimate
map
factor in the equation. I'm just serving. So it's not me setting it, but in union with or the client, because I feel that I have to help the client to get what she wants, with at the same time providing what she needs without necessarily her knowing what she needs.
Yeah.
In the first instance. Because if she knew what she needed, she could maybe have gotten it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But there is so much confusion in most of the people. And when we are working towards this, what she wants, she will get the material from me to feed her with what she needs. And then there is this union possible, but it's not me, as I see it, to define a goal. I have to do it with the client, because the client is really, she defines it. Otherwise, I can't have her on board.
Yeah, I agree fully with you there. That I mean, that is what our goal is, to help the clients. And that's why we are serving, and that's why we are service providers, because our main thing is getting the client what they want and need. And I love what you said about the differentiation between wants and needs, because many times if you would tell the clients what they actually need to do, some clients would be put off by that. And they first need to be enticed into believing in themselves, believing that they can actually achieve the goal, and then learning about what it really takes to achieve it. Because we kind of attract our clients by putting the benefits forward and not necessarily talking about the hard work that needs to get done for them to reach the transformation. So it's a process of getting our clients to a point where they believe in themselves and where they can take easy steps, gain some confidence, and where they can develop mastery in this process of healing themselves with you as a facilitator. So I definitely agree with you there. So by talking about the coaching goals, like in your example, it would be to say that I am a crisis coach. This is my specialty. This is what I can do and what I do really, really well. So just knowing what can you provide and what are you really, really good at, and what is the value that you can bring to the table. And then number two, assessing the client's needs, knowing before each coaching engagement, you know, having an assessment either before you start with a client or working, you know, that's why pre-preparation is so important for me when I work with a client one-on-one, because I want to know what they need in this coaching session, what I can provide, what are the modules and the things that I need to share with this client to get them from a point A to a point C, you know, creating that bridge in the coaching session. So, you know, and also so we can set the expectations for them, set their goals in this session and going forward. So this initial evaluation will guide the direction of the coaching process. And that's exactly what Corinne said. And I think that's where your intake form or your intake interview is so important, and the onboarding process where you actually really find out what are the exact pain points of your client, so that you don't go off on a tangent and help them with something that they don't really need, or that isn't the presenting, because in the medical field you've got the presenting problem and then you've got the actual problem underneath that, or the actual cause. So people might think they need a happiness coach because they're feeling unhappy, but actually underneath that, they need a crisis coach because they just went through a divorce, for instance. So what they think they need and what they really need is also definitely different, maybe. So yeah. And then on that point, when you're doing the intake, when you're doing the, you know, the onboarding, it's important for us to kind of have a coaching agreement. So creating a clear coaching agreement with our clients so that we know what is the scope of coaching the relationship, the expectations they have, the confidentiality between the coach and the client, and also the duration of the sessions. So it's just important for them to know where they stand, what they can expect from you, what you can expect from them. And it just sets some boundaries on both sides so that you as a coach don't get overwhelmed. And, you know, boundaries, you know, you get some clients who can suck the life out of you because you haven't set up proper boundaries in your coaching business. So you need to know what your boundaries are in terms of your energy, in terms of finances, in terms of your time. and for the clients as well, so that both are secure in this relationship. Right, just click there. Sorry. So developing the coaching plan. So based on your assessments and the agreements between you and the client, you create, like Karen said, a tailored coaching plan. And you outline specific objectives, milestones, and strategies to help your clients achieve their goals. Now, you get two kinds of coaches. You get a cookie cutter coach that just gives everything like a robot. Everything's exactly the same for each and every client. Or you get a coach that really specializes and works one-on-one with a client and has a specialized kind of coaching program that is designed for that specific client. And then you kind of get a hybrid that has some basic modules, but also has some specialization modules for the specific needs of that client. So when you're designing your coaching program, go and think about what are the generic modules that all clients will need to go through, and what are some of the things that you can chop and change, and what are the techniques and skills that you've got in your toolbox, so that you can help your client achieve the result. Not necessarily everyone in the same way, but using your different sets of skills to get the client to their point where they need to be. So setting SMART goals. So I said in a previous training, if I have to sit through one more training about SMART goals, I'm going to throw up, because I've heard it so many times. But SMART goals is just the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Now, if you're a coach, you should know this by heart. Someone can wake you up 12 o'clock at night and you'll be able to recite this. Because it is something that everyone needs to know and learn. You cannot set a goal if it doesn't have those 5 points in it to make sure that it is realistic and it is achievable and all those things. And that clarity helps us to track our product progress and the client's progress effectively. Number 6 is we need to implement our coaching techniques. So we utilize various coaching techniques and methodologies, such as active listening, powerful questioning, feedback, and all kinds of other things. You know, if you're qualified as an NLP coach, if you're like, I'm qualified as a CBT practitioner, I've had some mindfulness master training, a little bit of NLP training. So I use all of the techniques that I've learned, and I see what is the best solution for this client that's in front of me right now, and I teach that to them. So to guide your clients towards their goals. Number 7, regularly review progress. And this is so important. Don't just plug your clients into a coaching program and leave them there to fend for themselves. Check in with them regularly. Schedule some regular check-ins to review your client's progress, assess whether they are on track, and make some adjustments to the coaching plan as necessary. So what I've got in my program is I use Typeform, and then my clients can fill it in on a monthly basis, just saying where are they at, what are the results they're getting, and I let them fill in some key performance indicators for me to see how they're doing in terms of what I need them to achieve, you know, the goal that we're going towards and where they are at right now. So and I also ask them in that questionnaire, how likely are you to recommend me to someone else? So that gives me quite a good score on how happy they are working with me. So if I see there's problems, I would reach out personally. I also make a point of weekly, you know, I've got the weekly coaching sessions and the weekly mentoring sessions, but I also check in with them in DMs on a weekly basis and say, how are you doing? Where are you at? Is there something you need help with? Is there some resource that I can share with you? So I chat with them on a personal basis and find out, is there something going on in their lives that are maybe preventing them from completing something? So I keep a weekly check with them outside of the training and the coaching that we're doing. And I just feel like that just gives a little bit of a personal touch to it and doesn't leave your poor clients to fend for themselves in a coaching program that's pre-recorded and everything's just there, and you're expected to go through everything yourself. And you know, maybe they're confused or they're scared or they are not confident that they're going to reach the outcomes, and you need to be there for them. And that's just my model. I don't know, Corin, how do you approach that?
I do one-on-one coaching, so they have me personally.
Yeah.
Absolute 100%. So they are also free to DM me. And sometimes we have the conversation for short moments to get something straight so that they can move forward. Yeah, but absolutely access to me.
Yeah, definitely. There needs to be that personal touch. In this society that we're living in today, people are so hungry for connection because everything is automated, that the way we need to scale our businesses is through human connection, because people really just need some connection, and they need someone that can listen and someone that can help them and someone that can feel with them when they are like Corin's clients in a crisis, or like my clients when they're overwhelmed with creating this online business and they're getting stuck and they don't know where to go. They just need an ear to listen and help them through, you know, maybe a limiting belief or something that they really need to figure out for themselves. All right. Document and reflect. So it's very important for us to keep some detailed records of each coaching session. So whether you're recording the session on video or whether you're taking physical notes, you need to have a record of the coaching sessions. And I would recommend that if you're doing video, that you keep a shorthand just of the most important points as well, because you don't want to go and listen through 1 hour or 3 hours worth of coaching just to find out what did you say and what was the outcomes and what did they need to do. So just keep a notepad with a shorthand just for you to make a summary, and then just add that to your archiving. Yes, Corin.
What I'm doing on regular terms with all symptoms and also the state before an exercise and after an exercise is that I ask for the degree. Maybe it's because of my medical background. So I ask whether where it is on the scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most awful, hurting, whatever. And then we do the exercise, and then I ask again where they are at after the exercise. And I use also this if I meet again for the next session, and I want to have an overall view, that I ask, where are you in general today on this scale? So with the scale from 0 to 10, you can work very well, very easily, and you can very well integrate this into your notes.
Yeah.
So you can really quickly recap that if you have your sheet where everything is noted. And I really recommend writing systematic words down to follow the process, because the clients are the first to forget their symptoms.
Yes.
After it's solved, they forget they had it. So when you ask them, oh, how is this? You met this dog, and were you again afraid? Well, which dog? No. Oh, was I afraid? You know,
yeah.
These things really happen. So keeping track is essential for me in my work.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully agree with you there. I've seen it so many times where I've kept notes of my clients' one-on-one sessions with me. And then when I start seeing a pattern and address the pattern with the client, they say like, oh, I've never realized that. I didn't know that I ever keep repeating myself with this words, or how did you know that, or whatever. And then it's just me journaling for them by taking my notes. And people don't really know the value of journaling, where you can actually zoom out with a bird's eye perspective and see patterns throughout the sessions. And when you read everything as one big whole, then definitely you see some awesome and amazing insights that can help your clients take some fantastic breakthroughs if they would only learn to journal themselves as well. So, but that's a point for another day. So definitely I agree with you there. All right. So, and like this point number 8 says, reflect on these records and refine your coaching approach from time to time. And like we said, also look for patterns. So what I did with my, with my wellness clients is I used to write down the sessions, because at that time I didn't record. So I used to write down whatever they said, like a shorthand form. And then I would highlight things that stood out for me in that session that is maybe a red flag or something that really stood out for me. And then when they do the next session, I just revisit all the highlights, just checking if there's something that I can really make them aware of that could maybe create something for them. All right. And then point number 9 is encouraging some self-awareness. Again, promoting self-awareness in your clients, helping them to identify their strengths, their weaknesses, any areas where they can improve, because this self-reflection is a powerful catalyst for growth. Now, in what I just said, you can definitely know that I'm a big fan of journaling and keeping that journal, even if you write 2 or 3 things in it today, or you track something. It is so important to kind of keep a journal, and you don't have to do it every day. I know Karen is now busy with a gratitude journal, and it's an online journal, so it's on her Facebook, so you can go and check out Karen's gratitude journal. And it's just for us to daily be mindful of what we need to be grateful for. I remember a time in my marriage where my husband said to me, "You're a very negative person and you always see the glass half empty." And when he said that to me, I realized he's talking the truth. I'm doing that. And I bought myself a little glitter journal. And every day in my little glitter journal, I wrote down 3 things I'm grateful for, even if it was big things or small things. And that significantly created a shift in my mindset to see the good things in the day, not always just acting as a victim, not always just feeling sorry for myself and my situation, but seeing how good God is and how great, the fantastic gifts. Just to wake up and breathe in the morning is a gift. The sun rising is a gift. The birds outside is a gift. Just the different colors of grass. Have you ever thought about the different kinds of grass that you get? That is a gift. Everything could have been gray. So we need to be a little bit grateful for everything we've got, and we take things for granted. So when you start that little gratitude journal, you are definitely going to see some things that you've forgotten that you've had. All right. And number 10, fostering some accountability. Hold your clients accountable for their commitments and their actions. So encourage them to take ownership of their progress and their responsibilities. Now, what I tell my clients is, I'm not dragging you over the finish line. You're the hero in the story. I'm just the guide. So I'm not the one that's going to get the transformation. You're the one that's going to put in the work. You're the one that's going to take 100% responsibility for you where you're at right now. And you're going to move yourself over that finish line. I'll just cheer you on. I'll be the cheerleader. I'll be the coach. I'll blow the whistle. I'll do the pom-poms, but you need to be the one crossing the finish line. Evaluating and adjusting. So at the end of each coaching engagement, evaluate the overall impact and the results of your clients. Solicit some feedback from your clients to assess their satisfaction and gather insights for improvement. And that, I think, is what Karen said. She lets them give her a score of where they're at. And that tells her whether what she's doing is effective, whether she needs to pump it up a little bit or tone it down a little bit, go faster, go slower. And that just gives her the pace to work with her clients. Now, for me and mine, like I said, I've got the questionnaires monthly. And then I also have, at each phase, I have like a check-in where we do kind of do an interview about, what did they achieve in this phase? Did they get the outcomes that they need? Do they know what the most important action is? Have they practiced this action? Because obviously it's mastery. It's all about practice. Knowledge isn't power. The application of knowledge is power. And then continual learning, staying up to date with our coaching best practices, attending workshops, seeking mentorship to enhance your coaching skills continuously. I always say every coach needs a coach. Every mentor needs a mentor. We need to be growing and learning continuously for us to just stay up to date and to really help our clients well. We cannot, Karen can't say, I've been in the medical field for over 35 years. Now I know everything. No, she can't, because she's going to get left behind. She needs to keep honing her skills, keep sharpening that saw for her to be the best in her field and to help her clients in the best way possible. And it's fun to learn. I can't understand why people hate learning. I love learning. Even if I have nothing to do, I will grab a book and learn something. So the last 2 points is adapting to individual needs. Remember that each client is unique. We're not creating a cookie cutter factory. We are working with people's lives here. So tailor your coaching process to address their specific needs, their preferences, and their learning styles. Remember that each person that you work with has got their own worldview, their own perspectives. It is not for us to impose our worldview on our clients and to make them believe what we believe at all costs. We need to meet them where they're at. And in NLP, you learn about the map is not the territory, which just simply means that if I'm standing on this side of the map and you're standing on the opposite side, what I see isn't necessarily what you see. But we are actually both right. We're just not seeing from the same perspective, because we need to see from a bird's eye view to be able to see the whole truth. So just because a client doesn't agree with your truth, it might be their truth. And you haven't walked in their shoes, so you cannot say that what you believe isn't true. It's true for them because that is what they experience, that is their perception. So you need to work from that point, not from your perspective and your worldview, but meeting your clients where they're at. And the last point is ethics and boundaries. Upholding some ethical standards and maintaining appropriate boundaries throughout the coaching process. Always prioritize your client's well-being and confidentiality. Now, in my counseling studies, what we learn is, as a coach, when people talk about things like suicide, when they talk about self-harming or harming others, when they talk about things that your scope of practice isn't covering, it is best to refer them, but not referring them and just leaving them lying there in the streets, because I hear so many horror stories of people coming for help, and then the coach or the consultant or the counselor saying, "Oh, this is not my specialty. I'm so very sorry, I cannot help you." And then they refer them, but they never follow up. They never. When you do a referral is always introducing your client to the person that can really help them, and being in this concentric circle with a new helper, with you as the initial first aider in that response, and the client, to make sure that in this concentric circle, everyone helps this client so that this client gets help. So it is your responsibility to make sure that the people that you really refer are getting the help that they need. So just being responsible, knowing what your scope of practice is, knowing your laws in your specific country, where the boundary lines are, where the red flags are, so that you're not overstepping boundaries that you shouldn't be, and actually creating more harm than good for your clients. Now, I just want to quickly touch between what's the difference between coaching and mentoring, and what's the difference between teaching and facilitating, because to me, this is fascinating. And for many years, I didn't understand this. When people said, I'm a mentor or I'm a coach, I don't know what is the difference. And I'm so sorry for me cutting out like this. I think the electricity went off, so I only have my ring light here in front of me, so I look like I'm ghosting you. But in any case, for me, the difference between coaching and mentoring is, when you are coaching, you are the one asking the client's questions. When you're the one mentoring, the client is the one asking you questions. So that's an easy way to remember it. So my notes here says, coaches help individuals set and achieve specific goals. They use open-ended questions, active listening, and feedback to empower the clients to find solutions themselves. So you, as the coach, sit in the coaching chair, you ask some questions, and this client is answering these questions and reflecting on these questions, and you're just basically mirroring back what they're giving to you. and repeating what they are saying to them in a different way, paraphrasing, so that they can hear what they are actually saying. Because then when they're in this session with you, they start hearing the patterns themselves, and they start realizing what is going on in their lives by just speaking it out into existence and you repeating back what they are saying, so that they just hear it from another voice, but it's exactly what they're saying. And that just gives them a little bit of a step back in a perspective. Now with mentoring, my note says number 4, mentors share their experience and wisdom with less experienced individuals. They offer advice, support, guidance, often in a one-on-one or in a long-term relationship. Now, when I'm going through this, Karen, do you think you're a hybrid between coaching and mentoring, or do you think you are one of the other?
I think I'm a hybrid.
Yeah.
I just, because I'm on the older side. I have a lot of experience, and I saw a lot already in my life that I can use as examples to highlight certain aspects. So I'm really mixing the two approaches. Yeah, but on the coaching itself, the transformation in the client through their own work has my priority. So I think it's 2/3 coaching and 1/3 mentoring.
Yeah, good insight. Good insight. Yeah, I also call myself a mentor and a coach because I like to ask questions, and I also love to receive questions, and I try and help both ways. So then we get the distinction between teaching and facilitating. So what's the difference between teaching and facilitating? And I only recently learned this from my business coach. Teaching is teachers impart the knowledge and the skills to students through structured instruction. It often follows a curriculum with a focus on theory and practice. But facilitating is just much more than teaching. It is not only giving the instruction. Facilitators guide groups through processes, discussions, or workshops. They ensure the participation, manage the dynamics, and create collaborative environments. So for me, I'm still learning to transition between a teacher and a facilitator, because I definitely tend more towards the teaching. I love giving teachings like this, where I talk and talk and talk and give all the knowledge that I've learned, but I haven't in previous coaching containers really learned how to facilitate in asking people to participate, like I'm doing now, like I'm asking questions to the participants, asking them to do maybe do an exercise in front of the group or with each other, bringing something into the container themselves, where like my coach said, teaching is just where you use your brain and you convey the knowledge that's in your brain to your participants. Facilitating is actually you not being the smartest person in the room, but basically using the collective intelligence of the whole room by asking intelligent questions, having them practice and get into this whole discussion process and into the practice things, so that we all learn from each other, not just the teacher standing in front and everybody learning from them, but we all learning from each other as we mold and work through this information that is new to us. And that is what I'm trying to create in this mastermind. I don't want to just be teaching. I want to learn from every participant, and I want to hear what their perspective is. I want to put some points across that I think, and then I want someone to correct me and say, you know what, this point is actually wrong, because this point needs to come in front of this one, and this comes in, and I've learned about this, because then I learn more. And it's much more fun to learn while I'm teaching than to just be the professor in the front and just blabbering like I used to do. So I'm still learning. So I've thought, yes, Corin.
So you continue about facilitation, because I have quite some practice as facilitator.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to add something.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So I learned family constellation work. I started in 2000, so this is now 23 years ago, and participated in a lot of workshops and seminars also internationally, and had several teachers and masters for doing that. And the great thing about facilitating is that you have the field, and this is the knowing field. So we have a lot of respect of the knowing field. We regard ourselves not as, let's say, teachers. We have to be so open to be able to sense things in this field, that we take the lead to have it round, to have it safe, as a safe space for all participants. So there is a lot of responsibility, but the knowledge and the processes come from everybody. And so you can have questions put in the room, and everybody gives their share, but it is guided by you, because you have to have all senses you have open to understand the field and to know what's playing at the moment. And this is what I have a lot of respect of this field, because the people are bringing in everything from their lives, and you don't know what the result will be when you go into the field. But it depends on you, your direction that you are giving, your guidance, that it will end at the given time in a good way. All the time.
Love that. And the picture that comes up in my mind while you're explaining this field is just a bus full of kids on their way to a camping site, and they're going to have this experience, and the teachers don't really know how this whole weekend's going to pan out. It's up to each and every child and each and every facilitator that's there to manage these bunch of children with all this excitement and all of these energy, to have a good experience. And I think that's the kind of role we play as a facilitator, just like Karen said, creating a container, making sure that everyone is focused towards one maybe common objective or goal, and then just letting it flow, letting everyone do their thing and seeing how it turns out, not having very strict and preconceived ideas about what needs to happen or what doesn't need to happen, and allowing each and every participant to shine in their level of authority or their expertise to bring the whole group into an amazing experience that they would have otherwise missed out on, because one person wants to be the teacher, stand in front and take over the whole show. So I love that. Love that. So I thought it would be interesting for us to look at how Tony Robbins and Lisa Harper structures their facilitation and teaching. And I asked ChatGPT, how does Tony Robbins approach facilitation? And ChatGPT says, Tony Robbins does it this way. He has 9 points. Number one, he gets us into a peak state. And if you've ever attended, I don't know if you have attended one of his, I haven't, but I've seen a lot of his online trainings. So he definitely firstly gets everyone in a peak state, because you're in there for a weekend, and it's like, I don't know how, it's like 12 hours, 3 days in a row. Is like you're on your feet the whole time. You barely have time to eat or do anything else. So he gets you in this state, and there's music and there's like strobe lights and everything. So you can't not participate. You're in this container that he creates for you. So he emphasizes achieving and sustaining a peak emotional and physical state using movement, breathing, and visualization. So if you've ever seen a Tony Robbins training, he does this whoosh, whoosh, whoosh thing the whole time. And he's asking you to, connect to your heart, connect to your gratitude, connect to everything like that. And then he gives us some empowering beliefs. He helps the individuals challenge their limiting beliefs. And I'm in my mind's eye, I'm thinking about a scenario where he helped. I think it's in the film I'm Not Your Guru, that he's helped this guy that's got this severe suicidal thinking. And he just stands with that guy. He really kind of cradles this guy in his big frame, and he just talks to this guy about his limiting beliefs, and he helps him see his life and his perspective from a different angle and from a different vantage point, and that it helps him to align this with his goals. And then he does the strategic intervention where he employs the problem-solving strategies that he's learned to address the challenges this client has in front of him. And then he guides goal setting and action planning. So if you do this Tony Robbins event, you have charts that you need to fill in and questionnaires that you need to fill in. And I know that he also has lots of coaches that follow up with you. He doesn't just stand there again as a teacher in front and just listen to him. No, he's got lots of facilitators that helps him in this container, and he also follows up after the event. I've heard. I don't know if that's true, Karen. Did you experience that as well, where he kind of follows up? You have it. Okay. So he talks about the goal achievements. He guides the goal setting and action planning, and he advocates for massive action. So he always talks about massive action. So we just need to, do more and more action. So transformation can only happen when you take massive action. And then he talks about effective communication, where he is like, sometimes he's using swear words, and he's explaining that I'm using this not because I just want to say a profanity. I'm using this to get your attention. I'm using this because this is a technique where I learn to shock your system or whatever to get you into a state where you make that change. And he also believes in full immersion. So like I said, this if you do a training with him, you barely have time to sit down. You barely have time to think about anything else, or your soppy life, or your victim mentality. You don't have time for that, because he's constantly pumping them full of this new information. And when you're in an immersion container where you are doing like 8 hours, intensive training, then it's so much easier for your brain to start building these connections and things much faster. So your brain makes a thought process into a thought, all these thoughts that you create together into a belief system. And it's much easier to do it in this full immersive container where it's repetitive and it's all the time, and it's just overwhelming, so that there's no time for toxic thoughts, there's no time for self-sabotage, there's no time for external sabotage from other people. You're just building this thought tree in your mind. Like, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Caroline Leaf, that talks about toxic thoughts and talks about positive thoughts in your mind, and how it's like trees. That's the way your brain is structured. She's a cognitive neuroscientist, I think. And she talks about how exactly it looks in your brain, and it looks like a forest. So you can have some negative toxic trees in your forest, or you can have some healthy green leafy trees in your forest. So this immersion just breaks down that toxic trees and builds some new branches and new trees, and it nurtures them, so that you have much more of a transformation in this condensed container. And then obviously personal growth, lifelong learning and development are encouraged. And we've already said this is very important. I believe in it. Corin believes in it. Janelle, do you believe in self-improvement and personal development?
Definitely. Hello, ladies. I am so sorry. I was just in the middle of everything. but yes, definitely in self-development. I don't think you can actually live, without self-development. I think we're all supposed to be continually learning until the day we make that transition off this earth. But as we are here, I believe that that's what God's purpose is for us to gain more knowledge, more tools, more resources that he will be able to use through us to reach others that are lost in those situations and be able to unlock those things for them. I was listening to a lot of what you were saying, and I agree. And I just wanted to add another perspective because I think it was important for me to learn who am I in God, and he revealed to me that I am a challenger. And I could tell, the moment I heard that, I was like, oh yes, that is definitely me. I actually crucified myself over many, many, many years of feeling like I wasn't the most sympathetic person. I wasn't the most, I felt like I wasn't the most understanding person because I wasn't that person that would take a person by the hand and just lead and guide them and, help them to get over that line. But I was more the person that says, are you ready? If you're ready, let's go. And this is where we're going. But when that person was, well, I'm not ready and I'm not so sure, I got all of these things going on, that's when I drift off. And I crucified myself for feeling like, oh my God, what kind of Christian am I that I don't have this level of compassion? And I kept always praying for God to give me this level of compassion for people. And he's like, Charnel, you are very compassionate. You're just compassionate in a certain kind of way. And it doesn't look like how some other people that you're around, it looks. Your compassion is that you're willing to, literally, and I have done this, put myself in front of the way of fire to protect somebody else that wasn't ready. And that's what a challenger does. They know who to protect and when to protect, but they also know when it's time to walk away. And that's the part that I had to allow the Holy Spirit to help me with, because I was not good at walking away. I didn't understand how to walk away. And majority of the time when people would deal with me on a mentoring, because I'm more of a mentor, I say to people, I major in mentorship and I minor in coaching. So I like to meet people on one-on-one to find out where they are and then kind of develop that relationship so they know where I am and what my boundaries are and what I consider my limitations. Because not that I can't do it, because I can do it, but God is telling me that's not where he wants me to be. So I'm not going to be holding you accountable. I'm not going to handhold you. I'm going to give you, I'm going to make this big smorgasbord of all kind of things, plates for you to choose from. But you have to actually sit down and eat. I'm not going to say, hey, why don't you try this? Because this is really good over here. No, I'm going to say, well, here's your options. Here are your options. And I'm going to love on you and let you know, because to me, I think that communication with people is an asset, because then they know exactly where to put you. But you have to know that for yourself first, because I don't know how you old ladies did it when you first started in your businesses, but I'm the person that I feel like I could do so many different things. Like I'm a jack of all trades, that I didn't have good boundaries for myself. So the only thing that I wanted to do, I was so compassionate about helping. It's like, no matter where people would lead me, that's where I would go.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was something that was a void in me that I was trying to satisfy. And that void in me was not knowing who I really was.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah. I love that you
So
said that.
exactly.
I
So
love about your identity and knowing exactly where your limitations are and letting your clients kind of discover you. But firstly, discovering yourself, knowing where you can and cannot go, and what God really created you to be, and knowing what your spiritual gifts are, knowing how you fit into this puzzle of this life where God needs you to work on specifically. And I love that you said, I'm not doing it like everybody else. I've got a special way that I do it that is necessary, that someone really needs, and someone needs that specific methodology, and your tribe will be attracted to that energy where you are someone that can encourage them on the one side of the coin, but also admonish them when they need it. And you can be that person where you're strict, but you are also a very good encourager. And that is one of the spiritual gifts. I'm just trying to remember what that spiritual gift is called, but it escapes me right now. But it's definitely one of the Holy Spirit's gifts.
Yeah. Amen. I love the place that I am, but it took a lot of time and therapy on myself and with professionals to get me to this point, to get me to be able to be used effectively by God.
Yeah.
Because I was open and allowing myself to be used by God, but it wasn't effective. Totally. It was somewhat effective for people, but not totally. And I think it was probably more of a damaging thing for me over time than it was probably for the people that I came to help, because those that took what I said, they prospered and they did well. And then there was other people who kind of felt like my style, was a little bit too different and not of a coaching kind of mentality. And then that's when I realized the difference. And that's what I started looking into, the differences between coaching and mentoring. And that's when I realized that I'm really don't like too much coaching. I'm more of a mentor, so I think even for us, and that's the reason why I joined this group. I think that it's an awesome group, and thank you, Jane. How do you pronounce it? Is it Jane or Jenna?
Actually, Yana, but you can pronounce it any which way.
Yana. Oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. Okay, well, Yana, that's one of the things that I think that this group would be very helpful, and for those people who are going to be listening later. Yeah. That I think with all of us coming together with our different gifts and specialties and different things and purposes that God has given us, that we will be able to sharpen each other, which is what you said in the group, is, us sharpening one another. But I'm also here to also, share, obviously, but also to mostly be able to sharpen me as God has purpose for me to, to be and grow and stuff like that. And I just think it's just awesome to be able to grow with like-minded people doing the same kind of thing. So I love it. And Karen, I heard some of what you were saying. Are you in wellness with herbal? Oh, no.
Not wellness. My profession is medical, so I'm in therapy, really. Not I am in therapy. I work with therapies, so homeopathy, also plant medicine, but also reflexology, etheric oils, and all these practical approaches, and plus the psychotherapy and all this. So a mixture.
Well, excellent, because that is actually something that I'm looking into right now. So, so that's what I'm saying, with different things, God, I mean, I'm in my 50s, so God just changes. And I had no idea that I was even going to go into this, but that is something that he's been putting on my heart to get back to the basics. So I'm kind of learning those things. I wish that I could take out the time to go and get my medical license in all of this. But every time I thought about going that route, God is just like, no, that's not where I want you to go. You don't, for you, I don't want you to go that route. And that's only because my mental space is, I like to listen to people who are credentialed, not necessarily those who have just practice. So I keep trying to go towards the credential part of it, whereas God is like, no, where I'm going to use you in this, I don't need you to be credentialed. I just need you to just facilitate, basically. So that's where I'm going. So I would love to be able to learn as much as I can learn from you. I actually interviewed with a university here in Florida to do just that, to get licensed in doing alternative medicine is what they call the license. So I was going that route and God stopped me and he was like, no. So there's just like a couple of things that he has me doing. So you'll probably hear me talking about both. So there's alternative medicine, but I don't think that I am going to be a doctor in it. Whereas more of a seller of and mentor of just keeping your body healthy and the different things that you can use and stuff like that. So, I'm going to have a podcast. So I would love to be able to collaborate with you at some point. Because that's my podcast, is to bring in the credentialed people to talk about these things. And that's why God said that you don't need to be credentialed. What you need to do is open up that platform to bring the credentialed people on and just ask them those questions and facilitate that conversation so other people can learn. And the other thing is the soil. I'm getting into horticulture as well, because he's having me do this whole rounded thing that has to do with soil and with the herbal and stuff like that. But anyway, that's just where I am. I know there's a whole lot.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's so interesting that we have passion and a purpose in a specific field that we can talk about all day, that we get so passionate about. And I love that we get to be so different, yet all be in a kind of service providing and helping field where we're actually helping people to become more whole, more healed, more of who they are created to be. And I just love that we do it in such different ways. So yeah, I love this session tonight, and I love that I get to speak to such amazing people with such amazing qualifications and expertise and experience that I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. And like you just said, Janelle, getting the credentialed people in, I don't necessarily have to have all the credentials. I can learn from the group as a collective. And that's why I started this mastermind, because I felt like there's so many coaches out there that don't feel like they've got the support, that don't have a platform where we can discuss these things, that feel kind of alone on this journey of entrepreneurship. And just to get everyone together, to brainstorm together, to talk about things that we, are wondering about or that we can help each other with. So I just love that you guys are here tonight and that we're learning about that. I just have a few more slides. The last point we said in this whole thing was positive psychology. So Tony Robbins definitely believes in a positive outlook. And again, he talks about gratitude that plays a central role in his trainings. And then I have to ask Janelle, do you know about Lisa Harper? It's like, if you're a Christian woman and you don't know who Lisa Harper is, you need to go and find a preach or a teaching of her after this mastermind, and you need to listen to at least one. So that's a challenge. She is just an amazing teacher, preacher. And do you know her, Janelle? Have you heard of her before?
I have heard of her. I've listened to one of her things on YouTube. It was through someone else. So I'm glad that you mentioned her again, because yes, I found her information to be very powerful, and definitely I will want to follow her again. So yes, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah. So Lisa Harper actually is finishing up her doctorate in theology at Denver Seminary, and she has a podcast called Back Porch Theology. So Back Porch, I listen to that. I think she releases like 1 or 2 episodes a week, and she just goes into the deeper things about theology that we always hear about but don't have an idea about what that's about. So I love how she deep dives. And my whole life, I don't like shallow learning. I always like to go into the deep dive. So she is just a fantastic person, but she uses engaging storytelling. And I'm not going to read through every point because it's getting late now. But engaging storytelling, you guys can take a screenshot if you want to have this information. The replay will be on the group in the guides section. I will also post it on my brand new YouTube channel, The Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe, so you can go and catch it there. She uses scripture as foundation. She uses her humor and authenticity. She talks a lot about scenarios in her life, and she uses her weight at whatever she can use, but she's very funny. Love listening to her. She uses practical application, some passionate delivery, interactive elements. She uses message reinforcements. She kind of repeats some things that it sticks into your mind. And she closes with inspiration. She's always got an encouraging word and a message of hope. So I really encourage you to at least listen to one Lisa Harper this week. So I love Lisa Harper and her way of teaching. Even if you just listen to her for the way that she does a teaching, it is very engaging. She never loses the crowd. She always have a very engaged crowd. So now, how can we customize our coaching process to our individual clients? First of all, we can tailor our approach by understanding each client's unique goals, challenges, and learning preferences, and that's where our assessments comes in. So whether you're doing an assessment with your initial interview, like we said, or you have a questionnaire where they fill in some probing questions, we need to just know what the needs are of our clients so that we can kind of customize what they need. And we have to have a flexible framework. Like I said, it is easy to be a cookie cutter coach that just produces the same kind of result for the same kind of clients. But we need to remember that our clients are individuals with individual needs. So we have this flexible framework, maintaining our system, but being open to adapting elements of our coaching process to suit individual circumstances. And this flexibility just ensures that our coaching remains relevant and effective. I just want to see how many slides I've got left. Goodness, you can see that I'm stuck in the teacher mentality. And that I need to learn much more about facilitation. So bear with me while we've got 2 more slides. Karen is laughing. So thank you for having compassion with me while I'm learning to go from teacher to facilitator. All right, tools and resources to support our systematization. So we can have some coaching software. We can where we can streamline our scheduling. So I don't know about you, but I use Calendly for my scheduling, some progress tracking. So we can either use stuff like Trello boards, group track, whatever we're using to know where our clients are at in this process, to keep them on track, and communication with our clients. So in terms of coaching software, do you want to share? Are you using some specific things? Okay. All right, templates and checklists, creating templates for assessments, for goal setting, for session summaries to maintain consistency and efficiency. Now, if we had more time, I would have shown you how my type form looks like and how my clients fill that in. It's actually very nice. Your first, I think it's the first 10 forms. Like if you only have 10 forms a month, it is free. And then from there on, it is like a price that you pay. And there's also another one. Can't remember. Can you remember, Karen, what's that other one called that we fill in sometimes? I can't even remember what it's called. But you get some online forms that they can fill in, or you can create your own things on Canva, send that to your clients. And then again, just continual learning. Make sure you're plugged into a coach or a mentor. Make sure you're reading the books, going through courses, getting into peer networks like this, where we can collaborate with each other and talk about, our ups and our downs, what our challenges are. Just keep on honing your craft, keep on sharpening the saw. Last slide, common obstacles in our implementing of our coaching system. First thing is the resistance to change. So we might have some clients that don't want to change. And then again, I say to my clients, you need to participate in your own rescue. Again, I cannot drag you over the finish line. If you need to decide that you really want to make a change, because like Karen said in a session with me, she said to me, basically, what I also say to my clients is, what is the reward of staying the same? And I call it the crazy questions. And I don't know if you've heard it before. So what is the reward of staying the same? What is the reward of changing? And then we flip it around and we say, what is the reward? Goodness, now I'm getting confused. So it's the pain. What is the pain of staying the same? And what is the pain of changing? So there's a reward and a pain for staying the same. And there's a reward and a pain for changing. And you need to go and look at that for your clients and even for yourself when you're busy with the transformation, because it's that reward of staying the same and pain of changing that keeps you from moving forward and getting that transformation. We can also have a lack of understanding, where there's a misunderstanding of the benefits of the coaching, and that can hinder the acceptance. And that's why I love the challenge model, where I take my prospective clients through a 5-day challenge, where I kind of get to know them and they kind of get to know me. And by the end of 5 days, I kind of know a little bit about how you do things, what is your processes. So I can see, are you someone that I would likely work with in a 1-year container, or are you someone that would absolutely irritate me, or I would irritate you? And just naturally in this 5-day process, I can know, this person is not going to be a fit for my program. And I just love the way it kind of naturally qualifies my clients. So to overcome these obstacles, employ strategies like having clear communication. And I love what Janelle and Karen, both of you shared about just communicating well to our clients who we really are. Being authentic, showing up as yourself, creating content where people can get to know you, because they are going to be either attracted or repelled by what you share. So we want to repel the people that are not going to be a fit. And we want to attract the people that are going to be our absolute star clients, because they are the people that are really going to understand us, share maybe similar values or worldviews, and that are really going to get the transformation, because we're going to help people that understand us. If there's a miscommunication in terms of that, it's difficult to help someone. Then training and support, providing that training and ongoing support to ensure everyone is comfortable with their new system. And like Karen and I said, one-on-one, speaking to people, remembering that people need that human connection. They don't want automated systems all the time. They don't want to speak to the robot when they've got a problem, when they're stuck. They need to speak to you. And even when you're scaling, having a process where your clients can get a hold of you or have a piece of you, that they feel like they have that human connection at least. All right. And then lastly, to encourage that adaptability and improvement. So always be on a feedback loop. The way I do it in my program is I present the training in a 6-month, it is a 12-month container, but I present it live. So every 6 months, I present it again. So I make changes, and as I've learned and as I've researched, I add things that the first versions of it might not have. And that way, you're never scared of people stealing your stuff, because it's always created new, and there's always improvements, and there's always a version 2.0 and a 3.0 and a 4.0. So you're never scared of people taking your things or whatever, because you're growing so fast that no one will be able to keep up with your exact same system. So and again, continuous learning. So Henrietta, you are in the Cellular Expertise program. So we are just starting with module 5 of the 9 modules tomorrow. Do you want to share a little bit about how you're learning, and any insights and main takeaways of the session tonight?
Well, it's not a lot of selling. So yeah, it's not fit for me because I'm not coaching. But yeah, there's stuff that I've learned, gratitude and yeah, things that can help me. And I'm also stuck at this stage to know, must I go on with my art selling in career, and must I only paint for myself and for people around me, or must I go online and sell to international clients and stuff? And yeah, it's a big leap for me to go forward, and I'm stuck there. I'm afraid. I don't want the one-on-one like you guys. I don't know. I think it's my lack of my skills in speaking English, and it's difficult to, and it's difficult for me. But yeah, that is I love Tony Robbins, and I'm into motivation for years and years already. Can't motivate myself so much. But yeah, I need mentoring and not a coach for myself for that. And luckily, Jana is helping me with a lot, and cleared up some of my issues at the past. Especially my parents didn't want me to study art, and I was always it was difficult for me to get over that. And now I understand, and now I'm thankful for not doing that in the past, because the schools didn't influence me for modern art and things that's not appropriate to God. And yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, awesome. Before I ask takeaways from the other participants, are there any questions about tonight that you want to ask, or that isn't clear, or that I can open up again, or is everyone good? Good.
I'm good.
Awesome. So Karen, what is your main takeaway of tonight?
My main takeaway from tonight is that, thank you again for the invitation.
You're welcome.
And I learned a lot. And for me, the distinction between the 4 types of helping, like coaching, teaching, facilitating, and mentoring, that was good, because I was just on the point of checking that myself, because I wanted to have more clarity on the differences. Because I realized, well, I am a facilitator, definitely. So, yeah. This was really valuable. So a lot of insights, and yeah, thank you so much. And I pass it on
To Janelle.
Yes, and yes, Shana, thank you so much for the invitation. My key takeaway was something that you said that I am actually going to put on a t-shirt. You need to participate in your own rescue.
Yeah. Love it.
I absolutely love that. That is so simple, straight to the point, and just who I am. You need to participate, because I'm not going to come out there and put you on my shoulders and carry you back. You're going to have to participate and swim.
Yeah.
But just like Karen, I have the same takeaways. You know, I knew somewhat of the differences between those 4 types, but you made it very clear. And the value that I walk away from this is just something that I suspected, and I'm glad that my expectations were matched. That, well, I should say met, but that how important this group is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. My krag is ook nog af, nee.
Wi-Fi is off.
No, okay.